Hello and welcome to the Economic Times Smart Manufacturing Virtual Summit 2021, wherein industry stalwarts discuss various formats and models on building smart units, factories or plants, along with the bottlenecks being faced during the implementation of the forward-looking ideas. In this special episode, we bring you an exclusive event highlight. First up, we have a chief guest address on the future of Make in India and digital initiatives in manufacturing by Amitabh Kant of Niti Aayog.
Manufacturing has been the backbone of all developed and developing nations. It has also been the biggest contributor to employment across both skilled and unskilled labor force. In order to integrate India as a pivotal part of this modern economy, there is a strong need to step up our manufacturing capabilities in sectors of high growth, including the cutting-edge technology sectors. A strong, vigorous and dynamic manufacturing sector will fuel India's economic growth by allowing companies producing in India to penetrate effectively into the global supply chains across various sectors. Apart from enhancing exports, it will also reduce our import dependencies and spur domestic consumption. If India is to grow at high rates for the next 3 decades, manufacturing sector must grow on a sustained basis. Almost all the countries which have transitioned from low to high per capita income achieve this through manufacturing and export-led growth. This necessitates that companies manufacturing in India must become an integral part of global supply chains. India has a robust ecosystem which has the potential to use emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain, big data that can catapult India's development to new heights by creating millions of new opportunities of employment. Industry 4.0 is an important transition in the manufacturing sector that will bring new technologies, new operations, and will impact all sectors of the economy. India has already unleashed bold and transformation reforms which will bolster our efforts in becoming a global champion in the manufacturing hub of the world. The production-linked incentive schemes, reforms in labor laws, GST, corporate tax rationalization, and an overall ease in doing business will give a fillip to India's growth. India must seize the opportunity in sunrise areas of growth. This would require size, scale, speed of action, and a focus on technological disruption. India's ability to lead and globally drive these sunrise sectors of growth holds the key to our sustained growth, advancement, and job creation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Next up, we bring you a keynote address on the role of technology in Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing by Vivekananda Manjari of Dell Technologies.
What is Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0 is nothing but a culmination of the industrial revolution that started many centuries ago. The fourth iteration of the industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, offers us the opportunity to make production happen intelligently by harnessing the power of IoT, cloud, and big data. Today, we have various technologies that are mature enough for us to achieve large-scale transformation within our manufacturing operations and within our own industries, which creates a lot of opportunities for our own businesses to take to the market new products and services. The key within Industry 4.0 is how do you integrate the two silos of the operational technology side of it and the information technology side of it. But today, with the emergence of IoT, you are in a position to integrate informational technology and the operational technology so that you can bring new products to the market, you can be smart about the way your factory is managed, and you can create autonomous systems. Autonomous systems are systems that actually don't need human intervention. They collect data and they can regulate the way they operate so that costs are kept down and your products are manufactured at the right throughput without any compromise on quality. So the key behind enabling transformation within manufacturing is how do you achieve this integration between the operational technology and the information technology or your conventional IT. The way we look at digital transformation across industries is you need to think about transforming 4 key pillars. Number one, you need to think about IT transformation. The second pillar is essentially the workforce transformation side. The third part is application transformation. And none of these can exist unless we talk about security transformation, which is the fourth pillar that you see on the slide. So unless you look at it holistically across these four pillars, which is IT transformation, workforce transformation, the application transformation, and security transformation, you will not have a very holistic approach to achieving digital transformation. And that is where I think Dell Technologies as a company has a huge role to play, because we have a very comprehensive portfolio and expertise in executing this four-pronged approach and help our customers achieve their vision. Thank you for your time today. It was a pleasure speaking to all of you. I wish you good luck and all the best as you think about digital transformation within your industry.
The fourth industrial revolution is here. This is the era of cyber physical systems. Businesses, as we know them today, are going to be fundamentally redefined. Products are turning into platforms and are moving into the realm of services. And the way manufacturing is done today is undergoing a major transformation with the use of data and analytics, giving workers, supervisors, and executives actionable insights. With the use of these technologies, asset availability goes up, production yield improves, and workers become more productive. With PTC's industrial IoT and AR technologies, we help companies design, manufacture, sell, and service better. But more importantly, we make work lives more predictable and therefore less stressful.
Moving on, we bring you an inaugural panel discussion on manufacturing, the game changer for India 2021.
I'll start with Vipin. How do you see the opportunity for manufacturing and Make in India going forward?
The automobile industry in India is a huge driver of macroeconomic growth and technological advancement. So I'm going to step away from Make in India, where we can always come back later, to the importance of Create in India. We've got to create technology. Manufacturing will only be as good as the ability to create technology. In our sector, it's about alternative fuels, electric vehicles, hydrogen, CNG. It's about material technology, which is lightweighting and high horsepower to weight ratio. It's about connected and autonomous vehicles, and about safety and comfort, airbags, etc. And connecting all of this is the entire digital ambition that we, all of us, have to have on an organizational mindset change so that we can develop digital dexterity. So finally, as what we've tried to do is create in India, make in India, and make it for the world. With the government, and this is going to be a subsequent question, I hope, the ease of doing business, the cost of doing business, two major pillars for companies to invest in India, and we must take that opportunity.
What kind of actions have we taken to come out of this crisis? Ravi, your views?
What we did differently, I guess, and what I would say the industry did is we did demand sensing. Lubricants is a semi-essential product. Like most of the engines that run require lubricant in any form. And of course, the new vehicles require, the current vehicles require, which are running. So as we saw the demand, last year, when you remember, agriculture picked up a lot. There was huge agriculture, the amount of agriculture that went in. So our customers who are in agriculture, that was the first demand sensing we did. Then we had the green, orange, and red zones. So we actually had a demand sensing plan which was linked to that. So I would just like to highlight a few of these things. Agility and flexibility was the name of the game. I think looking at supply chains, we also get some of our additives from the global supply chains. And really, we had to be very speedy in terms of responding to this. And I think whichever of the players did better in our industry, we have actually seen that the replacement demand came back in quarter 2, quarter 3 financial year for all of us.
How is this PLI going to support Make in India, and what kind of opportunities are you seeing to support the growth of manufacturing in India? Prashant, your views on this?
This is a great initiative, and it will help to drive localization by raising India's bar as a global manufacturing hub. I think as per Niti Aayog, they said they will be spending about $50+ billion, of which 57,000 crores or about $7-8 billion is earmarked for automotive, which is a very good news. Despite being ours being the maybe fifth biggest auto ecosystem, India is still a marginal player in the global supply chain. Is that going to change? That's the question I think we need to ask ourselves. Second is, incentives alone may not be able to convince firms to shift to India and create a separate ecosystem unless there's a local market demand also is generated to sufficient levels. These are the two things I think will be important for the success of Make in India and also making India as a global supply chain.
Amit, are we doing enough in terms of ease of doing business, or can there be more that can be done to promote manufacturing in India?
I think from an ease of doing business perspective, there have been huge improvements, and we've seen the ranking of India going up. But I think there could be a lot more that can be done now. So one is to have world-class quality standards of manufacturing, and the other is to make the perception of Make in India or the perception of manufacturing world-class products to be much, much better. Then there are a lot of other measures in simplification of labor laws that are still to be done, skill development and other training programs that need to be done in India. I think the single window clearance is very good, but then there are again norms, standardization norms that have to take place. Standardization norms like FSI norms or setback or slum clearance norms or fire norms, those clearances again take a lot of time. These are the improvements that every multinational would actually look at today. So these are some of the things, Sridhar, that I think can be done for improving ease of doing business even further.
It's been a very insightful discussion. Thank you to all the panel members.
Industries are the major contributors of economic growth, and we believe that energy efficiency in the industrial sector has the greatest potential for combating climate change. Promoting the causes of energy efficiency and sustainability, I think it's everyone's priority now. As the world strives to lower emission and reach net zero through various measures, high efficiency motors and drives will play a very, very vital role in achieving this. Also, optimal sizing and selection of motors and drives according to driven load and application is the key. In addition, digital technologies will act as a catalyst in reaching our energy efficiency goals as they support in enhancing our operational efficiency. So it's important that the products used in industries are digitally enabled for round-the-clock remote monitoring to avoid the downtimes. I have a strong belief that by focusing on these areas, industries can play a very, very vital role in building a sustainable world.
Welcome back. Next up, we have a power-packed panel discussion on ensuring return on investment in smart manufacturing implementation.
So my first question to Mr. Nandakumar, smart factory, when you look at, there are a number of use cases, and these use cases don't really amortize in the same year, So typically companies have looked at taking a MVP approach or a pilot approach, right, to sort of de-risk this whole investment plan. So want to hear your views, how in Mondelez have you seen sort of going beyond the pilot, scaling beyond the pilots or the MVPs?
We have seen that events like pandemic or even the other disruptions can create a big problem for business. And those problems can be solved by embedding the right digital strategy in a meaningful way. Hence, typically for organization, it's important not to take a very short-term view or not to look at the KPIs which are very short-term in nature, but take a longer-term view and define the digital strategy and the digital investment for it. So that's the first part of what I can say about how to do the digital investment. Now, the second part, and which is really interesting and what we typically call is a POC syndrome, that there is a lot of, ambition, or there is a lot of enthusiasm in doing what is being called as a test and learn. That you do a small thing, try to get a success out of it, and then reapply it to a larger scale. Otherwise, things will remain at a small scale and it will take really big efforts to break the inertia which gets created into POC.
I'll sort of invite Mr. Dinesh. So my question to you is that companies are investing very cautiously, right? So from that perspective, given your experience, where have you seen, Panasonic sort of investing in, which is giving the most value for the money, the bang for the buck, right? The idea is to look at where to focus on.
We are essentially into electrical construction materials, which is, your switches, sockets, and switchgear products. So we are a mass manufacturer, small components, mass manufacturer. So somewhere in between, about 5 years ago, we invested into automation of inspection. So our switches, for example, have to go through a high voltage test, as we call that, and continuity test. So we started automating that using Indian vendors. So we got in touch with the equipment manufacturers in Pune, some around NCR. And that was the first set of investment which we did on the automation of the quality check processes. So automation, has two parts. I mean, one is the information automation, and second is the actual process physical automation, right? So information automation, we have been doing it for quite some time, which means having real-time information in terms of the machine uptime, in terms of the process rejections, input, output, etc. And that has obviously helped us in optimizing our planning, and output. The physical process optimization of actually assembling and testing automatically will be done in the new factory.
Companies have looked at, it's not just an MES deployment. It's you're looking at cloud, you're looking at big data, you're looking at OT automation. So Shyam, just gather your views around, how have you seen clients working around this integrated technology landscape as such?
The big question of where do we actually compute, and is it on the premise, the edge computing? And I think that's a very important step, because whenever we need something to react fast, you need something on the premise. But at the same time, very large amounts of computation when it comes to machine learning and leading to augmented decisions through AI needs a massive backend of the cloud. And coming to cloud, some of the new systems that is being adopted, started in North America, now increasingly in Europe and India, is the fact that the flexibility and the scalability that cloud provides. But how can I quickly adopt the dynamic systems? And I think that is where new models like cloud and SaaS, etc., comes into play.
Now with that, I will invite Ravi. Smart factory transformation is not a beauty contest, right? But really looking at a balance between value backward versus a balance between a technology forward, right? So I just wanted to get your views, and how have you seen sort of companies balance this out?
Great question when it comes down to measuring what's in future versus value that it can drive. So if we look at from that perspective, the implication of edge computing, right, is growing these days in order to process information very quickly, right? So digitalization and future technology has been valued from two perspectives. One is information, another one is actual deployment of robotics on the field in the factory itself. Right. So weighing both is critically important. And what we have seen with multiple customers out there is embedding a lot of these initiatives, which are digital transformation initiative, into the P&L itself. Integration is a key word, and that has a profound impact, believe me, to make any digital transformation journey successful, right? How amalgamated your business is with the technology or the upcoming technology. All right, so that right balance is extremely important.
Absolutely, great points. Thank you so much, this panel.
Our next session focuses on how 5G will Uberize smart manufacturing, with Cindy Raman of Airtel Business taking center stage.
I wanted to take time today and talk about smart manufacturing and its impact, and more importantly, how 5G as a technology can unlock the demand or the dormant demand that is there in the manufacturing sector for them to transform themselves. When we say 5G Uberizes smart manufacturing, 5G provides the key ingredients here in terms of the connectivity layer, which we saw before, how critical it is to get the data from the sensors and use that to analyze, and then drive the efficiency we're looking for. Latency wise, it's near instant delivery of data. It will be one of the latency will be less than few milliseconds when the data is captured anywhere and sent to a cloud anywhere. Capacity, if you have to get an accurate picture of the physical asset, you need to put a lot of sensors there to collect the data. So 5G has the capacity, will allow you to connect lots of millions of the sensors seamlessly back to your cloud. Finally, reliability. 5G will offer the fine line reliability for mission critical applications where failure is not tolerated. Now, once you have such a ubiquitous, low latency, high reliability connectivity, what creative minds can do is only a matter of time. The unique capabilities will unlock applications that have been previously existed, or at least not to the same degree. And that's why we believe very strongly that 5G is going to be the Uber for the manufacturing sector. That is, it will allow people to bring their creative minds, develop applications, create digital twins version of the physical asset, innovate on the digital twin, reduce time to market, create first time right products, provide the right experience to their end customers so that they create separation in the market from the competition. With that, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts.
Today, more than half of the world's population lives in cities and towns, and it is projected to grow further. If we will continue our businesses at the ongoing pace, the scale of development will accelerate the climate change. For us to protect our environment without impacting economic growth, we need to intensify our efforts and commitment to reducing the consumption of energy and natural resources. Promoting the adoption of clean energy technologies and energy efficiency solutions will accelerate this process. Currently, 45% of the world's electricity is used to power electric motors in buildings and industrial applications. This also means that we become more reliant on electric motors. We need to reduce energy consumption. I believe through innovation and sharing knowledge and insights, we can optimize energy consumption and help in driving the low carbon future for all industries, infrastructure, cities, and transportation.
In our last session, we bring a fireside chat on emerging technologies driving smart industry transformation.
I would request Rishabh, based on your experience of working with large companies in India as well as globally, how do you see some of the innovative and interesting use cases being deployed by the companies?
When we see India emerging into this industry 4.0, and a lot of these manufacturing units are really transforming, but these transformations are piecemeal, right? And that's where we bring in our experience, what we're doing across the world. We share our insights that it's not just about the factory floor, it's about the entire ecosystem, right? It starts from your entire supply chain, right? And how do you make it lean, thin, and you are saving costs there. On the factory floor, I think a trend that we see, which is emerging very, very fast, and it's really going to dynamically change the entire landscape, especially from technology side, is deployment of edge systems, right? And the amount of data that is being generated. One stream is that how do you capture that data at the edge, analyze it, and use it for decision making, so that you are optimizing the entire production process, making it more efficient. You are maintaining the quality, and you are doing predictive maintenance to save cost and stuff like that. And then on top of that, when you deploy next gen technologies like AI, for example, AI ML to analyze that data, I think that creates the entire combination out there, and it really makes it very impactful and very efficient and very in terms of ROI, it's actually quantifiable for our customers to go and deploy it.
How do companies integrate their legacy systems, or how do they leverage their legacy systems while they are connecting with these technologies, emerging technologies?
Organizations have capacity with their legacy system, right? And it's all about creating a layer on top of that, which really, it's kind of a hybrid layer, if you want to call it. A lot of guys look at cloud as that layer. A lot of guys look at these new gen technologies being deployed at edge as that layer. When you are adopting some of these, use cases and you're transforming, you look at, you look at your partners and you look at technology which can seamlessly interact with your legacy system.